You're listening to the Wrigleyville Nation podcast. Season ticket holders and lifelong fans with neighborhood ties discuss Cubs news and neighborhood happenings. Here's your hosts, Jeremy and Pat.
Hello and welcome to the Wrigleyville Nation podcast. This is episode 412 of the podcast. My name is Jeremy Deemer and I'll be your host. I'm joined as always by my co-host. He's my cousin and he's high atop Wrigleyville tonight. How's it going, Pat?
It's going well, Jeremy. Thanks for having me on.
We have a special guest joining us to talk all things Cubs. She's high atop Wrigleyville tonight as well. Sara Sanchez, thanks for taking time out to talk Cubs with us tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we got the highs and the lows of all things Cubs this time.
Yes, it was quite a week. We will unpack the week that was. We will preview the week that will be. All the Cubs news. But let's start with the positives and the great part of last week, and that was a sweep of the San Diego Padres.
Does it get old, like beating the Padres? I feel like, ever since '84, it's just been one series after another. With the playoffs last year, we extinguished their dreams, and then it's almost too easy this year beating them.
And necessary because it's a wild card tiebreaker in our favor now, which I'm not used to seeing that for the Cubs.
Yeah.
How many games were you at this week?
So I only actually made it to the 23-run game.
You did,
and I'm
okay.
not mad about that at all. I did have tickets on the 3rd and the 4th for those Cardinals games, and I'm not gonna lie. So I don't normally no-show my tickets. But on the 3rd, I went to get brunch with some friends. We were down at Summer House, Santa Monica, down on Halstead.
Yeah.
Walked down there. It was super hot and muggy, but walked down there, felt fine. On the way back, it was the most torrential downpour I've ever seen in my entire life. And I was like, I'm not walking. So I took an Uber home, and the game was supposed to start, I don't know, 2 hours later or whatever. I was like, I'll wait, because I thought there was going to be some rain in the early innings. I'm like, I'll show up a little bit late. And then I saw the concourse and I was like, nope, I am not walking through 4 inches of standing water on this concourse, just not doing it. And then frankly, after they lost 17-0 or 17-1 or whatever they lost, I was like,
Bregman had an RBI.
I don't really want to sit there in the foggy weather either. What fireworks are you going to be able to see in the worst fog in the history of Wrigley Field? So I watched the 3rd and 4th games at home while also flipping back and forth between the World Cup.
Jeremy, I got to attend the 215-degree temperature days, Monday and Tuesday.
Oh, good.
And then I got to I got to miss the 23-3 game, but don't worry, I was there the next day for the 17-1 game. And then finally Sunday, which was a beautiful, perfect day, and that was made up for a little bit of the Friday game.
So the Cubs win the first game against the Padres 3-2. Imanaga pitched well enough to win there. Only 2 earned runs for him, and Pete Crow-Armstrong continues to do well. We'll get into his Player of the Month as we roll through this. The next day, the Cubs continued to win. With Boyd picking up the win 9-7 as Dansby homered twice in that game.
Yeah. I thought the interesting part, it was kind of a juxtaposition those two games, because the Monday game, we got to see Imanaga pitch fairly well, and the bullpen came in and they were nails. It was great, right? Up and down, we win. The Tuesday game, Boyd didn't pitch poorly, really. He pitched fine. But Assad came in, and he was just trash. He was terrible. He couldn't get anybody out. It was rough. And I thought we were going to blow that game. Thank God we had all the home runs, because, we had 5 or 6 home runs that game, I think. Or maybe 8 home runs. We had so many home runs, but we only were scoring runs on home runs, right? I think we only had maybe 1 run of our 9 runs on something other than a home run. And it was nice to see, obviously, Swanson hit a couple home runs, and PCA hit a home run, and even Bregman hit a home run, which is a big deal. And Bush, it's like, oh, good. It could have been a great day. It was 9-3. And then in the 8th inning, And part of me was just
4 runs
frustrated.
in the 8th inning.
Part of me was frustrated because I was so hot, I think. And Assad had pitched well in the 6th and the 7th. I'll give him that. But they left him in for another inning in the 8th because the whole bullpen's depleted, and he just ran out of gas. Like it was bad. And he gave up 4 runs, could have been worse. And then they brought in Ferguson, who actually looked really good. I didn't, it's hard to track on all these guys because they keep coming and going. And whenever I actually like somebody, they're on the 60-day IL the next week. So, but Tyler Ferguson looked sharp in his inning. And then I thought for sure we were going to blow the game because Council decided, they're doing the lefty righty stuff. And he decided to take Ferguson out and bring in Rollison. And Ferguson, had just mowed down 3 straight hitters with 2 outs in the 9th inning. He brings in Rollison. I'm like, oh no, God, please help me. Because it was the batting order was like lefty, righty, lefty. So it's like, if you give up a base runner here, you're going to have to pitch to the next batter. Like this could be bad. But he got the out, and I was thankful for that. I don't know.
The second game was the game that I missed almost all of because I was watching Mexico beat Ecuador in the World Cup, and I that was priorities, man. But I thought the Cubs looked really good against the Padres. Like no lies detected that looked like a playoff team. The problem is that depending on the day of the week, the Cubs look like the greatest team ever or the absolute worst team ever. They don't really have the in-between mode of like, we're just some guys who like might win a game or might lose a game. They're like, we're going to score 23 runs or we're going to give up 17. Take us or leave us.
And did you realize like how weird this Padres lineup is? I mean, you look at the names and you're like, oh, that's a good lineup. And then you're like, how does Fernando Tatis only have 3 home runs until he played us? And
So,
how is it that Manny Machado is
us.
hitting like 186? And I got to tell you, their defense reminded me a lot of when the Phillies were in town. Remember when the Phillies came to town and we swept them because they just look slow. The infielders look slow and they're dropping balls
no range.
and they're throwing balls away. Yeah, they have no range. And Machado looked awful at third. I was like, wait a minute, this isn't right, is it? And then they were moving Tatis all over the field, but wherever they put him, he was making mistakes. And even Bogaerts, like everybody, like I was like, how is it that you guys are all so bad all of a sudden on defense?
To be clear, Xander Bogaerts was never like the best defender.
Yeah, but was he this bad always?
He was not this bad.
Or is he just old now? I mean, that's part of it, right?
I think that the Padres might be like hitting the end of their competitive window and you're seeing some age-related decline. I would not be stunned. Manny Machado strikes me as like a Hall of Fame caliber guy. I would not be stunned if he has like a rebound year or two, or if he like moves to DH or something and like gets it back and you just, but like, it's a very strange Padres team that seems to have no juice whatsoever.
No, and it reminded me of Machado. Reminded me a little bit of Swanson before the epiphany, when he was terrible. It's sort of like hitting in the 180s. It's like it's too late.
He was one of the worst hitters in baseball.
It's too late. It's 87 games into the season. It's too late to be hitting 189, bud. I mean.
So I actually had a piece come out on this today that I've been working on because I find what Dansby has been doing just like, and it's baseball. This happens. Like, this is why you don't make judgments on 60 game sample sizes or anything like that. Cause like weird stuff happens in this game, but Dansby through June 16th had a WRC plus of 67. So for those of you who are not,
that's worse than John Lester
aficionados, that is like, it means you are 33% worse than league average at driving in and creating runs. He was slashing 175, 281, 306 through 268 plate appearances with 7 home runs and 28 RBIs. Since June 17th, 65 plate appearances. He's slashing 328, 354, 852. His WRC plus is 219, which means he's 119% better at creating runs and driving in runs than the league average. And he has 9 home runs and 29 RBIs. He literally has more RBIs in the last 16 game span than he does in the entire first part of the season. Crazy. Other part of this that is super fun. So there are only 2 other players who have had more than 29 RBIs in a 16-game span. And I'm not usually one for like 16-game spans and stuff, but in this instance, I'll allow it because it's more fun that way. Those players are Sammy Sosa and Hack Wilson. For Sammy Sosa, it was the 1998 season, and y'all remember the 1998 season. It's during
I think
that
there's a
stretch where
Rockies series involved in that at one
where
point.
he's about to hit like 20 home runs in June, right? For Hack Wilson, it is the all-time season leading all RBI season in 1930. Those are the only two times a Cubs player has had more than 29 RBIs in a 16-game span. There's one other player who did it, and in fact, I'll throw this as a curveball to y'all. Can you name the other player who has had 29 RBIs in a 16-game span?
Is this a Cub?
It is a Cub. There are lots of players who have done it. This is a Cub.
Like, I mean, I think like Lou Gehrig and Bruce.
Yeah. Lou Gehrig, Mel, like all those guys did it. But like, this is one other Cub who has had exactly 29 RBIs in a 16-game span.
And he did it as a Cub.
He did it as a Cub.
God, I would have said Bobby Scales.
It was a long time ago.
7 games.
I'll even hint, he's one of the guys with a name around the ballpark, like a big tile name around the ballpark.
Okay. Is it Phil Cavarretta?
It is not. It's a good guess.
Rogers Hornsby?
No, another good guess.
King Kelly?
It is Kiki Kyler.
Kiki Kyler. Yeah.
Nice.
Kiki Kyler in 1930. That 1930 Cubs team. Don't sleep on the 1930
Sounds stacked.
Cubs.
Did we cover that, Pat, in our history section? Have we talked about this 30 team here?
Yeah, well, we not lately, but that was in that stretch where every 3 years the Cubs were making the playoffs. Yeah. Since I have you on the topic of runs batted in, I might as well throw this stat out. So I knew that Swanson had a tremendous number of RBIs in a short period of time. So I looked up to see where he now ranks in all of baseball, right? He is 15th in all of baseball in RBIs, which is astounding because he had like 3 RBIs over a 40-game period at one point, right? So he's definitely made up for it. Do you know who's 13th in MLB? And this is all Cubs and former Cubs, this whole list I have here.
Wilson Contreras.
That's absolutely right. He had like 8 or 9 this week. So Contreras, who's having a great season, is 13th overall. Swanson's 15th, followed by Schwarber at 24th.
Sure.
Cody Bellinger at 39th. PCA at 41st, tied with, wait for it, Owen Casey. Followed by good old friend of the show, Isaac Paredes at 47, and tied with Michael Busch. And then at 57 is Kyle Tucker. So a lot of familiar names in that group, huh?
So I'm sorry, I'm about to take us on a Wilson Contreras tangent. I promise not to make it more than 90 seconds. Two things about this.
Play the whole game usually, and he still is 13th.
Wilson Contreras has 20 home runs.
Yeah.
Before the All-Star break. And I'm sorry, you're going to make me look this up because I don't know.
I remember when Andre Dawson did that in 87 and it was considered some sort of like, epic feat.
Well, because it means you're on like a 40 home run pace and that's a big deal. Wilson has never hit more than like 26, 27, 25 home runs in a season. I mean, I think his max, I just pulled it up. Yeah, his season high is 24. So he's already at 20. Boston
Easier to hit home runs when you're not having to catch every game, too.
He's slashing 284, 378, 542. The man is not an all-star shenanigans. I understand all the, he's an emotional guy. There's a terrible earthquake in Venezuela. And Cade Cavalli called him boy. What do people want from Wilson Contreras? Like, what is he supposed to do? So I just saw that Cade Cavalli's 7-game suspension got reduced to 5 games, which means he misses 1 start as a pitcher. If Wilson Contreras' suspension is not similarly reduced, because honest to God, like what Cade Cavalli did is inexcusable. You're calling a man who has 7 years on you in the big leagues, boy. That is, I'm sorry, that we are not doing that here. That is not okay. That is not what we do in this game. And he's lucky Wilson Contreras didn't knock him on his ass. I don't know if I can say that on this podcast.
No, you're absolutely correct.
Mind you, because he sure could have. He was angry enough. Of the 9 names,
he was crying.
Of those 9 names I just mentioned, none of them are all-star starters. Of
Ridiculous.
Course. And the only people on that list of 9 who are on the all-star team are PCA and Schwarber, who are reserves. So there you go.
Contreras not being an all-star that's a travesty. It's his best season by far.
Insane. That's crazy. And
you know who's not having his greatest season besides Manny Machado and Bogarts and Tatis Jr. Jake Cronenworth, awful. And the other one, there was a time like 2 years ago, I swear, if not last year, when if you had polled people in baseball, I bet you over half of them would have said that this guy was going to be better than PCA, and that's Jackson Merrill, who's the center fielder for the Padres. I mean, he was considered like he and Churio. I mean, these guys were like going to be the stars of the game, and even more so than Pete. And Jackson Merrill's hitting 214 with a 73 OPS plus and 0.5 WAR. That was always the fear, like with Pete, is that we'd wake up one day and we'd look at numbers just like Jackson Merrill's numbers right now. You know, it'd be like 18 stolen bases. That's great, but he can't get on base, and he's a 626 OPS. You know, that was always the fear.
Let me tell you something about Pete Crow Armstrong, and I'm sorry because I know I'm like jumping ahead in the order here, but like
perfect timing.
Pete Crow Armstrong has made a change this season that if it is sustainable and if he keeps it up, he's a superstar. He's not like going to be an all-star a few times, has elite defense, going to fade someday. Like, he will be a superstar because the only tool he really hadn't mastered. Coming into the season, and I'm just going to list these in order. So like I'm not going to include the 2023 season where Pete Crow Armstrong had 19 plate appearances because that's ridiculous. 2024, 410 plate appearances. His on-base percentage was 286. He walked 5.1% of the time. 2025, 647 plate appearances. His on-base percentage was 287. He walked 4.5% of the time. That is some Javi, like that's Javi Baez. Right? 2026, 390 plate appearances. He's got an on-base percentage of 383. That is elite. And he's walking 10.5% of the time.
He's one of the few players I've ever seen who gets elevated to the leadoff spot and then starts walking like all the time. I mean, he was walking a little bit before, but he's walking so much now. Like in July, he walked 17 times.
I mean,
or in June and then twice in July now. So 19 walks in the last 34 days.
If he's going to do this with 30-30 numbers and the defense he plays, we are talking that is superstardom. That is like some Mike Trout craziness. Like I do not invoke Mike Trout lightly here though. But last season, Pete Crow
better fielder than Mike Trout. I mean, come on.
He's a better fielder, and he is a better fielder. Last season, he put up 5.4 WAR over the entire season. This season, he's at 5.5 WAR before the All-Star break. And for those of you who don't, WAR is a cumulative stat, so you like gain and lose it over the season.
He definitely gives me these vibes of like Jose Canseco at the plate, Andrew Jones in center field. No, he's having a great year and obviously had a great month.
Player of the month for the month of June.
Yes. And has only gotten better since June. Like in July, he's playing much better than he did in June. I mean, he was the best player in baseball in June, but he's better now than he was then, hitting 500 with a 1.45 OPS in July. One of the things I noticed in addition to obviously the 11 home runs and the 8 stolen bases and the 17 walks is that he actually started to, and this is one of the, not that I have, was a minor quibble, but one thing that I noted is early in the year for a weird reason, it seemed like he wasn't getting any doubles. Like usually a guy with that kind of speed will hit one that's kind of a quasi gapper, but somebody will kind of hot dog it a little bit to pick up the ball or wait for it to get to him and it'll bounce a couple times. And a guy with his speed would just take second. Like we saw Javi do that all the time. Like Javi would get like 5 or 6 doubles a year, just, catching somebody sleeping. And so I was wondering like why Pete wasn't getting more doubles. And he did this last month, start increasing his doubles, but that's an area where I think he still will make great strides. And, he, in addition to hitting 30 home runs, can easily be a 30 homer, 30 double, 30 steals guy, which just is one more,
he's on
phase
pace
of his
for
game
that right now.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so it sounds like the adjustments that he's made are paying off because we've seen these stretches before where it's a streak of success and then a streak of just falls off a cliff and can't hit anything. Strikeout. Now this is sustained over a multi-week period here, over a month.
Yeah, so I looked at this a couple of weeks ago now, so the numbers aren't going to match up exactly. But when I looked at it, I went back to some research that Fangraphs did in like 2013. So it's a little dated, but it's statistical analysis that shouldn't get dated that way. You'll see what I'm saying in a second. Basically, like how long does it take before something like your walk rate or your on-base percentage is sticky? So like obviously these things don't change over 20 plate appearances or 50 plate appearances. Like how long does it take for that? And he's right on the cusp of, if this is, if he does this for like he's doing it right now, he's right on the cusp of like, this is a sustainable change. There's some disagreement about what that looks like, but I will say one of my favorite tools over at Fangraphs is you can do a 15-game rolling look at players. And the reason that's a cool tool is because it'll show you multiple years. You can trade out the stats, you can look at all sorts of things, but you can also just sort of get an idea of like, has this guy established a new floor for themselves? Have they are they doing something fundamentally different from a power perspective, or from a are they elevating to a degree they never have before, or fixing things to a degree they never have before? And the crazy thing about Pete Crow Armstrong this year is that since the very start of the season, when he was struggling a little bit, he really has not dipped below a 300 on base percentage at all. Like, we're now looking at going on 100 plate appearances. This is who he is. And if he can do that, he's just he doesn't even have to have a 380 on base percentage. He can just have like a 340 on base percentage and I'll be happy.
One thing I noticed in these games, and obviously we didn't even get to the epic game, the 23-3 game, where I might add, the Cubs managed to have yet another player record a save. They've been doing that a lot lately with random people. Jordan Wicks this time with the 3-inning save in a 21 deficit. That's, by the way, the largest margin of victory by a Cub pitcher to ever record a save. Because, usually you don't get saves when you're up by 20, but he
Jordan
pitched
Wick's second save of the season.
His second, yeah. Putting him only one behind Palencia for the team lead, tied with Jacob Webb, right? But, yes, they also hit like another, 8 home runs that day. And it was great, and everybody seemed to be performing well.
Tying their franchise record from last
Yes.
4th of July against the Cardinals.
Yes, I know, right?
Both of those games.
Yeah. The one thing I did observe, being at several of these games this week, which was a little disturbing. I don't know if anybody's noticed this, or maybe it was just a bad couple games for him, but Nico Horner's been struggling a lot this year since his hot start in April. And I think it felt like, well, maybe he was starting to pull out of it a little bit, but not only did he have kind of another off week, but I noticed that he's been hitting a lot of fly balls. Like, one of the games I was at, he batted 5 times and he had 4 flyouts. And I'm not talking like crushing line drives, diving catches. I'm talking about like can of corns on a 3-1 pitch, on a 2-0 pitch. Like, it just feels like he is just off, and that's just not his game, right? Especially when the wind's blowing in. But his success has never come from hitting like tons of fly balls, right? And it worries me.
My biggest conspiracy theory is that Nico Horner has not been himself since he got hit in the head with that pitch.
Yeah.
And
Rizzo can tell you about that, right?
Want to be that girl. I really don't. I'm not trying. And I think this is one of those things, like, I don't think it's going to end his career, or he's never going to be the same or anything like that. Like, I do think, though, that concussions are real. And the type of if you think about Nico's hitting game, the fine line between being like a Nick Madrigal type hitter and a Nico Horner type hitter, he is exactly the type of guy who cannot lose like a little bit of bat speed here, a little bit of, I'm ahead of the pitch here, I'm pulling the pitch here, like just the tiniest of margins. And that strikes me as the type of thing that you probably get impacted by with a head injury. I wish, and I don't have access to this data. If anybody has access to this data and wants to send it to me, I'd love to see it. I don't have monthly splits for, or like, I can't do splits off a date for some of these advanced like StatCast stats about like bat speed or bat path or anything like that, the same way that I can for some other things. And I just have a hunch that there's something in that data that shows that Nico is not quite the same guy since I think it was May 8th. If I could be wrong about that, but May 8th strikes me as the date that I recall running some of those.
Rizzo's talked about that, right? About when he got hit and how the lingering effects.
Or when Fernando Tatis hit him in the head. I mean, that was,
that's
that was
a
hip check from Fernando Tatis. Thank you, Tatis.
Right. So anyway, that was a little bit of a concern. And of course, it's almost comical at this point, but Bregman is the one guy he couldn't do any damage in the 23-run game. But as I aptly predicted in the 17-1 game, he did manage to get the 1 RBI. So congratulations, Alex. Unfortunately, we were down by 10 runs at the time, but, thanks for the effort.
Okay, so can I tell you a depressing stat that I just uncovered while we were talking? Because I play around with leaderboards.
Yes,
while
we are now at the 17-1 loss. So absolutely, so now's the time.
Well, so in 2025, 19 different Cubs pitchers got a win. How many Cubs pitchers do you think already have a win in 2026?
Oh, this year?
Mm-hmm.
I
it's
mean,
real close. They're not at 19 yet, but they're real close already.
Yeah. I'd say probably about 13 already, right?
Higher.
15.
Higher.
Gee, already?
19?
It's at 16.
16? Wow.
16 different Cubs players have a win so far.
Drew Pomerantz has a win. That was quick. And Cade Horton has the 1 win that he'll sit with this year. And I don't know if he'll ever get another one, but David Peterson has the 1 win.
Daniel Palencia's got 2.
Got to see his fine performance.
Daniel Palencia's
got 2,
and 3 saves.
Well, okay, so it's a combination of 2 things. One, everyone's hurt, so they've rotated in pitching staffs, like they're on their 3rd iteration of a pitching staff. But when you've got like 11 walk-off wins, you're going to get a lot of weird wins that way too, right? That's how you're gonna see. Yeah, that's how you're going to see like Trent Thorntons of the world getting wins and people like that.
Caleb Tealbar's got 2 wins.
People often talk about how win is an overrated category. It's not really reflective of anything, but I will say, in defense of wins, as a very meaningful statistic, Phil Maton has 0 wins, and that's about right.
Accurate.
Yeah, can't get much more accurate than that. So
Vince Velasquez also has 0 wins.
Yes.
We hardly need it.
Yeah, are we going to see him again at some point?
Well, did he get picked up by somebody else, or did he wind up back in the minors? Hold on. He elected to become a free agent on Tuesday.
Yeah, he had those 2 games that he pitched, right, where he gave up no runs. That was a fluke, though. He has 2 games finished in his career with the Cubs. He's one of the few Cubs to have finished every game he's pitched in.
So obviously it's a 3-inning sample, so this is all like a lot of noise. But his K per 9 during that time was 2.7.
Man, if he could keep that up, he'd be dangerous.
Like some Hobie Milner.
Yeah.
K per 9.
After the Cubs put up 23 runs, I immediately texted you, Pat, and said they will now get shut out in the next games against the Cardinals because that's what this team does.
Unfortunately, I already had tickets, so I was stuck.
And sure enough, the 1 run in the 17 run loss, and then they followed it up the next day, losing 3-0, scoring 1 run in the first 2 games against the Cardinals. Absolutely disappointing.
Especially because I was sitting next to a Cardinals fan that first game. It was probably good that I departed. There's this new trick I've learned during the 105-degree heat day, where for the first time in my life, during a game, I went to Gallagher Way, which you can do.
Yeah.
And because I just needed a breeze because it was that hot.
Yeah.
And you can scan your ticket to go into Gallagher Way and then come back into the ballpark. But what I did not realize until that day is not only can you, I shouldn't even say this because I don't want everybody to steal my secret, but not only can you scan your way onto Gallagher Way, But apparently now, and I think this has to be a change from when they started, you can now leave Gallagher Way and go to Jenny's Ice Cream, or you can go to Lucky Door, or you can go to Murphy's Bleachers. You go anywhere you want. You go home. I can go home and then come back and then rescan my ticket through Gallagher Way and come back in.
As long as it's before the 7th inning.
As long as it's before the 7th inning, yeah.
They will not let you come back in after the 7th inning. And this is the thing, and I do understand why they do this, but also this is the one time I always want to use that trick and I can't. You can't do it before the game starts.
Right.
So once you're in until the game starts, and then you can go back and forth. And the reason for that is because on those days where you get there 2 hours early to get your Ryan Sandberg bobblehead,
and you want to go home and drop it off and come back.
You cannot come in and come back. You can't do the scan in, scan out, because people would come through multiple times to get multiple bobbleheads because people suck.
But you could come in for 5 innings and then go out and give your ticket to, like whatever, to a friend, and let them come in for the next 4 innings. Alternatively,
the Cubs could just give more than 10,000 bobbleheads, and we wouldn't all have to get there
nice,
2.5 hours early.
Yeah.
One
last
and they wouldn't sell me an extra $23 vodka soda.
If you do go in though, and you leave, you can, for example, go get ice cream, but you cannot get a milkshake because you cannot bring liquids back in for the very reason you just identified. They don't want you to sneak alcohol in, but you can get a double dip ice cream cone and come in, which on a 115-degree day is not the worst thing. Or if you have kids,
I will say, unless you are wedded to traditional ballpark food and you really want your Polish sausage or your hot dog or whatever, bring your own food to Wrigley, people. What are you doing? Just get yourself some tacos, bring them in. Get yourself a sandwich from wherever your favorite sandwich place is. I am partial to North Point Deli.
Yep.
Bring it in.
I was just there the other day.
I love that place.
I always that is the
ridiculous caprese sandwich.
That is the place I always go for tailgates for Notre Dame games. We stop there in the morning and get the sandwiches and then head out of town. But
anytime I go to North Point Deli, I get 2 sandwiches because I know I'm going to eat the one. I'm going to eat one, and then I'm going to want the other one. The next day I'm going to be like, man, I want another sandwich, and so I'll have it in the fridge.
So if you do have kids, though, it's a great way to get ice cream. I mean, Jenny's ice cream doesn't feel inexpensive until you try to buy ice cream in the ballpark, and then you realize just how fine that price is for gourmet ice cream. But it's actually better ice cream, and
you can leave, go to Jenny's, come back,
yes,
and you will have done that faster than the people waiting in line for the ice cream.
That is also true. Yeah.
Well, because the concourse at Wrigley is the slowest place in the history of the universe.
You can
no
eat
matter
that ice cream
what is
on
going
Gallagher
on.
Way.
And I get it. Some people move faster than others, so this is no shade to the people who are just going as fast as they can. But for all of you people who could go faster, who are not, what is going on?
They're on their phones. That's the problem.
It is driving me crazy. I'm meanwhile, bobbing and weaving around these people.
It's also amazing to me how many people have never paid with a credit card before, apparently, because when they get up to the credit card machine, they look at it like it's it was some invention that just came down from aliens just brought that day. And I'm like, dude, it's a credit card machine. You can tap your thing, you can stick it in. I see people staying with their card trying to figure out what to do. I'm like, stick it in or tap it anywhere else. It works the same way everywhere. You don't know this?
The other thing that's great about these people is they have been standing in line for 15 minutes and they haven't decided what they want.
Yes.
Oh.
So they're like, hey man, what do you want? What do you, I'm like, how do you, there's 5 of you. We need 3 pretzels, 2 of the Tostitos cups. Come on. You were in line for a long time. You're making these decisions now.
Do not ask the person working what's good here.
No.
Just don't. Here? You should actually lose your place in line. It's for saying that it'd be oh, I'm sorry, you said the wrong word. Now you have to go to the back of the line.
I have 2 suggestions for the Cubs, mainly because I am cursed as a person who drinks alcohol at Cubs games. They cancel my drinks on the regular. Every year, multiple times a season, my drink becomes the drink that is discontinued during the course of the year, and I have to change it out. And it's I honestly should just stop giving them $25 for whatever it is they're charging, this little can of whatever they're charging me for. So this year I started with the pink vodka lemonade skimmers, which were so great that by mid-June they just were gone. Like they don't have any of them apparently, and I don't know that they're getting them back. So I had to pivot, which is not great. But I will say the thing that was amazing for a hot minute there, I think it was 2 or 3 years ago, they would do those bud mango seltzers, and they would deliver them to your seat. Like it was one of the like 12 things they would deliver to your seat. So I didn't have to get up at all. Like just like get a bud mango seltzer delivered to me in my seat, and I could just keep score the whole time. And more things delivered to the seat would be good.
More things. Yes, it's a very limited list of things they will.
They should just expand. I don't know why they can't expand that list.
If you ever want to do an extended episode bonus material, Jeremy, I would be happy to recreate my Soldier Field rants. If you really want to get into concessions,
yes, we definitely do not have time for that.
We do not have time for that. However, I have stories, lots of stories.
Okay, we should do though for real, like the 10 changes we would make for concessions and like lines and procedures at Wrigley as people who are there a lot.
Yeah,
yeah.
Because I have so many thoughts.
Oh, that will be an off-season episode for sure. We
could just tag the Cubs and be like, "Dear Cubs,
we solved. We had a think tank get together. We solved a bunch of problems for you. Here you
Not
go.
Not the least of which is season ticket holders should have access to buying their college hat on college night, because you don't let them even pay extra for it. You have to buy a whole separate ticket for it. It makes no sense.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Anyway.
I agree with you on the whole like the season ticket special ticket thing. Like that is a messed up situation.
Yeah. I digress.
After two messed up situations on Friday and Saturday, we rolled into Sunday where the Cubs salvaged a game in the series. They lost the series to the Cardinals, but did not get swept, which was good. So
Can I tell you what a beautiful day it was on Sunday for a Cubs game? I mean, so the Saturday night game, we had the rain problems, and Friday and the terrible game. Saturday, we had the other rain delay and then a fog delay for 20 minutes.
And the highlight being fog broke the ABS system, where a challenge was they challenged a pitch and they said, nope. ABS is unavailable at the time.
When the catcher cannot see the outfielders, I feel like you really need to stop the game for fog. But that was a long, very prolonged outing, and of course everybody was waiting because they were doing fireworks after the game.
Right.
So which started at promptly at like 11:36 p.m. instead of earlier like it would have otherwise done. But in contrast to the bad weather on Saturday and Friday, Sunday was the most beautiful day. It was like 70 degrees, nice breeze, kind of sunny but not hot, just like a perfect weather. And the Cubs made it a much more enjoyable game by actually, performing well.
Welcome back, Drew Pomeranz.
Yes.
I like the Drew Pomeranz pickup a lot. I do have to say though, the thing I avoided on the night of the 4th of July, because I just couldn't deal with it, was looking at the neighborhood groups, because I just knew there were going to be a bunch of people complaining.
Oh, yeah.
And the fireworks were going off at Wrigley at 11:30. And it's like, you moved into a neighborhood where the ballpark was here first. Like, unless you are the oldest person alive, the ballpark beat you to this neighborhood. So
yeah, I know the oldest person alive, and she lives in my building, and she didn't care. So it was all you have to do is there's Reddit threads from like 2014 fireworks. There's Reddit thread from Pearl Jam in 2012. Just go back and reread those. You don't have to, don't reinvent the wheel every time. Like just copy and paste.
One of the things Paul has me do every year, maybe as punishment, because sometimes I'm late on stories, is I go to the Wrigleyville community meeting that happens every like early March, like late February-ish.
Yeah.
And that meeting is the same every single year.
Yeah. I stopped going for that very reason.
It's the same 12 people who are like, and the Uber drivers are parked on my street, and the people are loud, and the truck deliveries come at 7 a.m.
Where do you live? I live on Lakeshore Drive in a high-rise on the 31st floor. I'm like, oh, I don't really think that's like, those trucks are Wrigley trucks. Sorry.
Pat, when Walker hit the home run, did it at least make you nervous?
Of course. Well, I was like, come on, man. Why are we throwing him a pitch? Like, there are very few guys in that lineup who really scare me. He's one of them. I was also a little afraid when I got there because Javier Assad was pitching, and last I saw him, he was giving up like 7 straight base runners.
Sure.
However, he pitched much better, 4 2/3, almost got through the 5th, not quite. Had to bring Rolison back in. It does feel a little bit like deja vu sometimes with these guys, and then Ferguson after that. So whatever, and then Pomerantz if you really want to get into deja vu from years past, and then Webb, who pitched 2 innings to close it out. Thank God. And actually, the 9th inning was not as nerve-wracking for me as I thought. I mean, they did hit that sharp. They're man on first, right? So the tying run is at the plate. Sharp line drive to Swanson, but you can catch those. It's not like he's hitting 300. I mean, come on, he did have a lot of RBIs. But he still hit like 206 or so, whatever. So yeah, it was great. But for the home run by Walker, which scared me. Walker had all 4 RBIs for St. Louis. That guy was again a top prospect, and then I was promised that he actually sucked, but no, of course not. Like
No.
He should have had to be cut and go somewhere else and then become good. Why isn't he good as an Angel? Why does he have to be good as a Cardinal?
See, this was so for the last couple of years, Jordan Walker was my number 1 overall pick to leave the Cardinals and become Randy Arozarena.
Yes.
Or Adolis Garcia.
Yes.
Or
they're good,
you know
at
what
that.
I mean? Like
they're
there's
good
always a guy who the
Yeah.
Cardinals cut bait on.
Yeah.
And then Patrick Wisdom hits 30 home runs. It's like, what?
Right.
What? Like, and it's because the Cardinals cut bait on him. But no, they didn't cut bait on him. And now he's good for them.
No.
It's kind of a bummer.
We just got rid of Goldschmidt and Arenado. Now we're gonna have this guy for the next 10 years. It's just
He's
life's
really
not
good.
fair.
He's really good. I saw Jordan Walker play 2022 in the Arizona Fall League, and man, he was good then. He's good now.
Yeah.
After that series, the Cubs are the number 1 wild card team, with the Phillies a game behind them, and the Cardinals are third at 47-40 as of the time of this recording. So the important to at least win one and not get swept. But man, you were promised Walker was going to be bad. I was promised the Cardinals weren't trying this year.
Yeah.
And here they are taking up a wild card spot and winning series against the Cubs constantly.
And by the way, to the same degree that I think deep down Brewers fans really don't want to play the Cubs in a 3-game opening round playoff series in Milwaukee, i.e. Wrigley North, I don't want to play the Cardinals, even if it's at Wrigley, in a 3-game series. It's just no thanks. Like,
no.
I would rather try to get our revenge against the Miami Marlins, revenge for the 2020 campaign, that bizarre 2-game playoff. I would like
Marlins aren't getting a wild card spot. That's they had a very fluky June.
They are in technically tied with the
in
Cardinals
the hunt.
right
yeah,
now.
but that's because Javier Sanoa's been acting like he's a 440 on base guy, and it's just not true.
I would like to play maybe the Nationals, although they got some hitting, but yeah, something like that.
I would like so I'm looking right now at the list of guys on the injured list for the Cubs. And I'm not going to get greedy because we've got literally a full starting rotation that is better than the rotation the Cubs have right now, plus an entire bullpen. Like, I'm pretty sure we got a full pitching contingent on the injured list. But if I could get just 1/3 of these guys back for the bullpen, I really think that would improve the situation a lot.
Here's the thing. I don't want to let Jed off the hook we'll just wait for some of these guys to get back. I want to see the Cubs do something at the trade deadline to improve this situation.
What, David Peterson didn't do it for you? He given up, how many runs did he give up against the Cardinals the other day?
44.
10?
At least, yeah.
Would have been more, but he was removed. 10-run rule, I think, right? Something like that.
They mercy ruled David Peterson.
Yeah. Looking ahead to as we are at the All-Star break here next week, so we have 1 week and then it's the All-Star break. Where the Cubs are now, if they maintain this spot atop or second, somewhere in the wild card here, Sarah, do you have confidence that the Cubs will go out and add some pitching for this team?
I do think they will add a starter. I think they will try to nickel and dime the bullpen the way that they always do. I'm actually not terribly angry about that because they're pretty good about piecing together bullpen arms. I mean, honestly, look at the guys they spent on this offseason. That's not working out at all.
No.
Like Phil Maton and Hunter Harvey, not it. Like Hunter Harvey might be if he ever gets healthy, but like neither of those guys is really inspiring confidence and in me right now. So I do think they will go out and get a starter. I think they will want it's a little tricky because you want to get a starter with multiple years of control, but if one of those years of control gets lost to the CBA, you could have just given up a ton of prospect capital for a starter who you only get for like 3 months. So
I worry that's going to like paralyze
it might.
them on not doing something like that because they won't be able to make that decision.
But they need a starter. I mean, right now, Shota is pretty good, but seems to be like hovering right on the line of like could fall apart to bad Shota at any time. Look, man, I love Javier Assad. I think Javier Assad is nails, and I think he is better at being a Major League Baseball pitcher than he has any right to be. Like, if you look at the stuff and you look at like all of it, you're like, this shouldn't work. And yet Javier Assad just goes out and makes it happen, and I do love that for him. But like Javier Assad's very best is like a 4.2 ERA and some trickery, and like every fifth start he's going to get blown up because it's not going to work. You know what I mean? Matthew Boyd, fine. Colin Ray, living on borrowed time. I don't believe in the David Peterson thing. Like, I do think it's going to be better than it was with the Mets just because the Cubs defense is better and he does theoretically have a ground ball rate, but I really don't think.
Not against the Cardinals, apparently.
Yeah,
not against the Cardinals.
Yeah.
Throwing meaningful. Well, I think that may have been, though, because the Cubs probably told him, you could just go out there and throw, and like the guys behind you are going to get it. And so he threw a bunch of fly. Like, I do think there's some tinkering that needs to happen.
I mean,
there.
they
He
can't
needs to
climb
throw
over
balls
the wall.
that are down.
Unfortunately, that's the only problem.
The problem is that right now, at the very luckiest, if they are as lucky can be, the Ben Brown neck thing turns out to be not as bad as it was 2 years ago. He comes back at some point in like August, and Ben Brown is nails still. Edward Cabrera is better than he's been so far and does not keep getting hurt like he always does. That's the optimism. That's the whole optimism in the whole thing.
Yeah. I still want to believe he's not bad,
so
but I've only ever seen him be good for like 2 starts.
I have no optimism about Jameson Taillon. I mean, honest to God, every time I watch Jameson Taillon play, I'm like, I honestly don't know how he's not giving up more home runs. Really feels like more of these balls should land on Waveland.
I went on Cubs Pravda today, i.e. Cubs.com, and I did a little research to see what they think, the Cubs.
What state media is reporting.
What do they think is going to happen when it comes to the Cubs injuries? Because I thought, well, what they're telling us is going to be literally the best case scenario, right? So to Sarah's point, they mention Imanaga and Ray and Assad and Boyd and, Peterson, blah, blah, blah. Then we get to the injured players. So Taillon, it appears, will return right after the All-Star break.
God help us.
He might get an abbreviated outing before the All-Star break. I don't think they're going to push that. I think they'll probably wait till after, but he will be back. Now, here's what they say about Ben Brown. He seems more likely to return as a reliever later this season.
Not good.
To be clear, that is speculation. Because he might not return at all, apparently. Justin Steele, at most, will come back as a reliever. Might not come back at all this year. Cade Horton, obviously not coming back at all this year. Jackson Wiggins has the right elbow issue. He pitched a rehab stint. He is not currently a factor in any rotation plans at the major league level for this year. Moving on. If that's not optimistic enough for you. With the bullpen, Palencia and Phil Maton should be back before the end of July. That seems like a long time. It's the beginning of July, right? But before the trade deadline. So maybe we'll have a little bit more of an idea what the bullpen looks like at that point. Ethan Roberts might be in the picture before the end of the month. Might be, but his timeline is less clear. So let's just say third week of August. Hobie Milner could be back at some point in August. Or
the only person you've named who I want to see in a high leverage situation for the Cubs is Daniel Palencia, to be clear.
And when they say stuff like that, like about Milner, could be back at some point in August, or maybe he'll be on a milk carton. I don't know. Like, who knows, right? Riley Martin and Hunter Harvey, both in the 60-day IL, could work back into the mix later this season, but hard to count on them. Yeah, they're not coming back, right? I mean, this is the Cubs saying this, right? Like, I mean, sure, I suppose if they find the fountain of youth, they could, but I mean, there's no expectation that they will. So that's that. That's the Cubs injury stuff. And Cabrera, is making progress apparently, but again, sometime in July, I guess if you're the Cubs, you look at it optimistically and you're saying, okay, Taillon comes back at the All-Star break, it at least gives you a body in the rotation. Then Cabrera comes back at some point later in July, along with Palencia and along with a couple other stiffs like Matan, and you at least get a sense of like what kind of a bullpen you might be able to piece together, because you'll have a couple more pieces like that. And then is the trade deadline like August 3rd this year? It's some weird
later this year.
Yeah, so August 2nd or 3rd, maybe August 3rd, like that night, or the next morning, August 4th on the Score or something. Jed will come out and say, well, we feel like we made a lot of additions to this team internally because we were able to, we've got 3 more arms in the bullpen and we've got 2 more starters back, and we feel really good about where we're headed with this, with this new team. And
were in on a few guys too. They were in on a few guys.
We're in on a couple guys. The price was just too high. Like, we're not going to mortgage the future just to win this year. But that's why we picked up Mike Soroka again, and it only cost us Rojas or something. Whatever.
I will say the most optimistic thing that I heard in the past week is that Shelby Miller is throwing again.
There you go.
So keep in mind Tommy John surgery in October. So that's soft toss.
Yeah.
I want to return to the Jameson Taillon of it all for 1 second, because the Cubs are going to try to sell this to us as we got a new pitcher. It's great. And he may actually be better than David Peterson. So I don't want to throw cold water on the fact that Jameson Taillon might be the guy who takes the rotation spot when he comes back. Jameson Taillon is closing in on 10 years of service time. I don't know if he's actually hit the number yet, but he'll hit it this year, which is very cool. Congratulations to him. That's a big deal.
Soon to be free agent.
He has never had a home run per 9 over 1.67 until this year. 1.67 was his career high last year as a home run per 9 innings. Mm-hmm. Would you like to guess what it is this year?
2.
Higher.
0.8.
Lower.
Okay. 2.5 roughly.
2.66.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Jameson Taillon is giving up an extra home run per 9 innings every time he pitches. And hold on, that's through May. That's before it got warm.
Yeah.
That's with the happy fun ball that we discovered that Eno Saris and all the data nerds are out there hey, the ball is flying again. It is going to be a long, hot summer of Jameson Taillon in Great American Ballpark and Wrigley Field, tossing up home runs, y'all.
In fairness, he was leading the league in most home runs allowed earlier this year, and he's really dropped in the rankings on that. He is no longer
on the IL.
Right. Oh no, there's a reason for it. I know, because he's not pitching.
He's not pitching.
The longer he can continue to not pitch, the better he's going to look on that total raw number category. Unfortunately, I don't think that solves the Mr. Peterson problem. And I agree with you, by the way, about Colin Ray being on borrowed time. That guy's got Cinderella, 12 o'clock written all over him. And at one point this season, I thought he had turned into a pumpkin, because he had 4 or 5 rough starts in that.
I have a whole theory about Colin Ray. And I'll just share it with y'all. I've actually never done a deep dive to prove if this is true or not. But
let's just say it's true.
Colin Ray, to my eye, is a little bit tricky. Good 2 times through the order against teams who haven't seen him very much. But when you put him out there against the Brewers or the Cardinals or the Reds or any team that sees him frequently because they're in your division, It doesn't work. Like most of Colin Ray's blow-ups, to my eye, are teams that have seen him a lot. And there's a reason they don't really let him go 3 times through the order.
Yeah.
But if you're seeing the Cardinals for like the second time in a month, you cannot throw Colin Ray twice in that situation. In my opinion.
I think that Jed has this, and maybe some fans, I would like to dispel them of this nation, but there's this theory that come October, the Cubs are going to have Palencia and Matan's going to be healthy, and they're going to have Ben Brown and Justin Steele and all these guys coming out of the bullpen, and Colin Ray and Assad can start playoff games and go through the batting order once or twice. And then we'll have this plethora of like 2 and 3 inning pitchers that will just bring in and wipe people out with. That's what they're thinking. I potentially. I don't know how realistic that is, but I could see, certainly I know fans are thinking that. I would try to dissuade people from, I mean, it's always good to dream, I guess, but that's like the too easy way of figuring out this problem.
So I just have to, so part of the reason I went with the ratio on Jameson Taillon's home run numbers rather than the raw numbers is because of the injured list situation. And I just have to say, of guys who have thrown at least 30 innings this season in Major League Baseball, there's only one pitcher who has a worse home run to fly ball or home run per 9 ratio than Jameson Taillon. It's Kodai Senga, who has thrown 35 and a third innings this year, and he has a 2.8. J-Mo has a 2.66. The next, 3 guys are relievers. And then it's Jeffrey Springs who throws in the launching pad that is Sutter Health Park, which I just kind of feel bad for all of the Athletics pitchers. This is like getting drafted to the Rockies. And you're like, I don't know, man. I don't know how to throw in this park. It's 900 degrees and we live on the moon.
Well, it's like being drafted, but then having to play in AAA your whole life. Because that's what that ballpark is.
A quick, we have time for quick predictions for the week ahead to take us to the All-Star break. So 3 at the Orioles, 3 at Cincinnati. Pat, we'll start with you.
Looking at the Cubs pitchers this week, it's actually not as bad as I thought it would be. I think the Cubs will go 3-3 to close out. Is this closing out the first half, or do we have to keep playing more?
Yes.
We're through the first half,
That's it. Mm-hmm.
I see the Cubs going 3-3, although, of course, Hunter Green is back and Lodolo is pitching better finally, and Abbott. So I think that Cincinnati series could be rough, but I do think the Cubs will win 2 out of 3 from Baltimore. And I would be willing to go 3-3 and get to the break.
Sarah?
I'm going to say 4-2. Hunter Green looked really bad in his return, and I'm hoping I actually really like Hunter Green as a pitcher. I think he's fun, and I think guys who throw the way he does are fun, and I want them to do good things. But his velo was down a lot, and he got knocked around quite a bit. I think the Reds might have rushed him back a little bit, so I'm not terribly scared of Hunter Green. And if the Cubs can get to Hunter Green, then I'm certainly not scared of the Reds bullpen all that much, although they did just move Rhett Lauder there, and Rhett Lauder is a pitcher the Cubs have not done great things against before. I think they take 2 from the Orioles, and I think they take 2 from the Reds, and I think they blow up in one of those games. And I think that for all 6 of these games, I am sitting on my couch screaming, wondering how this bullpen works at all. I watch Craig Counsell bring in guys, and I'm like, that's not going to work. That can't work. What is a James Webb? I thought that was a telescope. And then
that is a leader in saves on your team.
They're like, he's the closer, and I'm like, that's great. That seems problematic. 4-2.
That was Matt Damon's character in Born Identity, right?
I think it's going to be 3-3. It could easily be 4-2, but I think they're going to limp into the break. I think they'll be looking forward to their time off here. Most of the Cubs not playing in the All-Star game, so I think they'll go 3-3 heading into the break. We will not be back next week. We will be taking the All-Star break off as well.
Oh, cool.
Sorry. So no podcast next week.
That's a tradition.
Back the weekend. It is. Yeah. Yes. And so with that, we are going to close out the show as we do every single week, where we take a trip back in time. Pat, we got to do a rapid fire here. We're for this day in Cubs history.
I'll do it. Yeah. So we're headed back 11 years to Monday, July 6th of 2015. Cubs are playing the Cardinals at Wrigley. The Cubs actually lost this game 6-0, but they came back and won the next day. There's a doubleheader against the Cardinals, which helped spur the Cubs on to what would end up being like they were 7 games over 500 at this point in July in 2015, and then they played like 20 games over 500 the rest of the way and almost won 100 games. The Cardinals, by the way, were 54-28 at this point, and they ended up winning 100 games, but they got beat in the playoffs, as I recall.
One of my favorite sporting memories. Yes.
So before we get into the Cubs lineup, there were 2 players in the St. Louis Cardinals lineup who ended up becoming pretty well-known Cubs, as it would turn out, just a year later. So there are 2 guys in the Cardinals lineup that year who got a ring the next year as Cubs. As most players do in free agency, trying to figure out, hey, I should go with the Cubs because then I'll win a World Series.
So Jason Hayward.
That's one of them. Yeah.
John Lackey?
Yes, the pitcher that day, John Lackey, who went 7 scoreless innings against the Cubs. Against John Lester, no less, who gave up 0 earned runs, but 2 unearned in 7 innings.
I love this.
Justin Grimm pitched an inning in relief that day, and then Edwin Jackson in mop-up duty gave up 4 earned runs in the 9th inning of a game the Cubs are already losing 2-0. So who was in the Cubs lineup? I will give you a clue to get us rolling here. Now, remember, this is 2015. You'll see a lot of familiar names here, but, there was still some movement before the season ended. So starting off and batting first that day was the left fielder.
Oh.
Yeah.
And you're going to make us do this in order?
Yes.
That's exactly what we do.
They didn't put Kyle Schwarber in left that day, did they?
No.
Is Kyle Schwarber in this lineup, though?
He is not.
Okay.
He's not on the team yet.
He's not there yet. He hasn't been called up. Okay.
He's in the minors. He's being drafted, I think, at the time.
I'm just checking. He's going to get called up, and my brother is going to text me at some point in 2015 and be like, this dude Schwarber is a fire hydrant who hits home runs, and it's going to be great.
He's going to be drafted like the next day, probably. I don't know. Like, he was, whatever.
Left field in 2015.
This guy was taken out for a pinch hitter late in the game. The pinch hitter was Chris
Coughlin.
No, Chris Coughlin was a starter.
Oh, Chris Coughlin was a starter. I was going to guess Chris Coughlin. Okay, Chris Coughlin.
Yeah. Chris, what was his name? Denorfia. Remember him?
Yeah. I remember Chris.
Random. I don't even think he was on the playoff roster. I don't think. Anyway.
Okay, so Chris Coughlin is leading off.
Chris Coughlin is leading off. Batting second is the first baseman.
Anthony Rizzo.
Yep.
Yes. Batting third is the third baseman, rookie of the year. I hope that doesn't give it away.
Chris Bryant.
Yeah. It's not Mike Olt. Okay.
Batting cleanup was a guy who was a catcher. Yeah, not Mike Olt. No, he was gone by then.
Is it Miguel Montero?
Yes.
Yeah. Nice.
He's probably thinking to himself at this moment, he's like, 15 months from now, I'm going to hit a grand slam against the Dodgers, and I might knock this stadium down after 102 years of existence.
I was wondering. I'm wondering if he had said, "We are good yet." We are good, boys.
No, I don't think we were.
It was right around the time that Miguel Montero says we are good.
Yeah. Next in the lineup, 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth, batting fifth. God, what a weird lineup, Madden. Was the shortstop.
Baez?
No. He was not in the lineup.
Russell hasn't been called up yet. Has he?
He has.
Is Russell playing shortstop?
He is not. The Cubs had a shortstop for many years, including this one. We all forget.
Starlin Castro.
Yes, the shortstop. The Cubs shortstop for
Starlin
for 5 years. Yeah, he was still the shortstop.
I forgot he played shortstop.
And then followed up by the right fielder. Again, we have no Schwarber, but we do have this guy. He had good playoffs.
It's not Soler.
Yes, Jorge Soler.
2
for 3 that day. He was the only 2-hit performance. Batting seventh was the center fielder.
Well, this is messing me up because it's not. Why is Dexter Fowler not leading off?
I don't know. He's batting seventh.
He's batting seventh.
What is he doing, Joe?
You go, we go, Dexter.
And then I had this other I blocked some things out of my memory, right? And one of the things I blocked out of my memory was when Joe Madden decided to bat the pitcher eighth.
Oh yeah.
This was one of
Yes.
those days. John
Okay.
Lester, no less, batting eighth,
God.
who was hitting 031 at the time. Remember, it was his first year at the Cubs, and he had just
He had,
gotten
like,
his
never
first hit.
Yeah.
He had one hit. I mean, he was still
Doesn't
better
he
than
get a home run this game though?
not
'Cause
this game.
He gets
He-
a home run off of Blackie,
Yeah,
which
but
is
that's
my
later.
favorite John Lester stat.
Yeah.
Like the John Lester gets a home run off of Blackie.
At this moment in time, he had only he got a hit in this game, which I think was his first of the year. And that began his renaissance as a hitter. He officially making him better than Manny Machado and Jay Cronenworth. And then batting ninth was the second baseman.
I'm gonna mess. I'm not gonna get this. Well, it's not.
Future All-Star. He had been a Cub for exactly 1 year and 2 days in the Cubs organization for 1 year and 2 days. He was acquired on July 4th of 2014.
Yeah, but 2014 was the dark days, and I don't remember anything that happened
In exchange for starting pitcher Jeff Samardzija.
Oh, Addison Russell.
Yes, Addison
Oh,
Russell.
I thought you said Addison Russell wasn't called up yet.
He
Nope,
was.
I said
He
I
wasn't.
said
He wasn't
not playing shortstop.
Oh, I gotcha. Okay. All
Tricky.
Yeah.
Tricky.
That's not tricky. It's true. So we had what turned out to be one.
What a weird
two-
lineup. What are we doing, Joe?
Yeah.
Joe was on crack.
A lot of these guys were involved in the home run shenanigans against the Cardinals in October, foreshadowing, although Kyle Schwarber was not here yet. But yeah, weird lineup. And we think of that 2015 team and we remember how good they were and how it was like the precursor to 2016. But we also forget that Baez didn't really start much. Addison Russell just been called up. Schwarber wasn't even there yet. Chris Coughlin was playing left field. I mean, it was early days, as they say.
Chris Coughlin leading off, like I barely remember that happening,
Yeah.
but I'm sure
Yeah.
that did happen.
Yeah. Early days, the 2015 season. So this loss put the Cubs at 6 games over 500. They ended up winning 98 games, I think, right, that year. They went on to play the 99 win Pittsburgh Pirates and the 101 win, I think, St. Louis Cardinals.
They broke the Pirates.
I will
the Pirates
say
were never the
that
same.
Pirates team. So 2 years in a row, they had the 1 game wild card
Yes, they were
against the even-year
Baumgartnered.
Giants
Yeah.
and the Chicago Cubs, and it was Bumgarner
And
who was
Arrieta.
not going to lose. It was like when Bumgarner was not going to lose, and it was when Arrieta was not going to lose. And I just
Yep.
that Pirates team might be the reason that the wild card gate is now 3 games.
It broke the Pirates organization.
For a small market team like that to win over, and I think over a 3-year period, they won like 299 games or something, right?
Ridiculous, yeah.
Here it is. They won 94 in 2013, 98 in 2015. That's right. So they had 2 and 88 in between was the other one. Yeah, that was rough. They lost to and I think that the Cubs one was the 3rd in the series. So actually they lost in 2013 in the NLDS 3-2. And then they went ahead and lost to Baumgartner and they lost to Arrieta. So they only got to play 2 more games, both at home, but it doesn't really matter.
Peak Andrew McCutcheon.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a really
they
good
were-
Pirates team.
Yeah. Garrett Cole, of course, was a stud, except you just ran into a pitcher who was better than Sandy Koufax. Just
For 1 year.
For 1 year. What are the odds, right? Starlin Marte was on that team. Yeah, that was a
really good team. That was pre-steroid Starling Marte.
Yeah.
Or maybe during steroids, but hadn't been caught yet, Starling Marte.
Right. So anyway, yeah. So the Cubs were just about to turn the corner on this date in 2015. And I promise you, none of us were thinking, well, this team's going to win close to 100 games and go to the NLCS.
No, I was not. I was very much like, yeah, they're a year away.
Yeah, right.
And with that, time flies when we're talking Cubs and having a good time with our friend Sara Sanchez. Sara, thank you for coming on. Please remind our listeners how they can find all your work on the internet.
Yeah, you can find me at BCB_Sara on Twitter. You can find me at BCB Sara on Blue Sky, which is better than Twitter. So you should just really go to Blue Sky and get off Twitter. You can find my Cubs writing at bleedcubbyblue.com, including the piece I have today about Dansby Swanson's latest hot streak, and all the work I've been doing on Pete Crow Armstrong's change of approach at the plate. And if you're a fantasy baseball type, check out Baseball HQ. It is behind a paywall, but it's the best analysis in the business for helping you win your fantasy league, and that is over at baseballhq.com.
You can follow us on all the social media platforms at Wrigleyville Nat. WrigleyvilleNation.com is the website that has the entire back catalog, all the links to subscribe. And if you want to support the show, the best way to do that is to go over to the YouTube channel where the video version of this podcast is. Search for Wrigleyville Nation Podcast. Give us the likes and subscribe to help us work the algorithm so other Cub fans can find the show. And with that, we're going to wrap it up and call it a podcast. Pat, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Jeremy.
Thanks again, everyone, for listening, and we'll talk to you again next time.
Bye.